What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode in the FNF full modding course. So today we're going to be covering stages. These are really quite simple when you get to understand them and such, but they can be quite complicated when you're just getting started. So let's jump straight into it. So you're going to want to go into the mods folder, then the stages folder, then do your stage's name. So let's say random stage, we're not even gonna add an underscore, .lua. You're also going to want to create another new file, the same name, but this time .text. So make sure those are exactly the same. Launch the Lua file first. We'll get into the text file later. Alright, so once you're in here, you're going to want to make sure you have the Funkin script autocomplete. So just search up Funkin, install, and there we go. Now we have an autocomplete for Lua. So what you can do now is do on create, and here you're just going to want to do make Lua sprite. The tag, so this can be whatever you want. Let's say this can be the background and the image. So this is gonna be stored in mods images, and then let's make a subfolder for stages, and then let's make another subfolder for random stage. And here we're gonna make a new photo. So I'm just gonna use paint.net. You can use whatever you want. I'm gonna make it 920 by 1080, but you can make the resolution whatever you want. Alright, here we go. This is like a super basic background, but let's go ahead and save it in random stage, and let's call this the backdrop. Let's make another new sprite. We're gonna do it on a different layer. And let's just make this a bit of an overlay. So this will go over the characters. It can do that, and alright. Now we have a bit of an overlay. Let's make it slightly transparent. And let's delete the first layer. Let's do overlay. And finally, we're going to do one more thing, and that's going to be animated. All right, I've just made this like terrible animation in Animate because you need to have a sprite sheet, obviously. So alright, now that we have everything up, we can go ahead and get back to work. We need to call the image backdrop, obviously. The X, so let's just go with 0 and 0 for the position. You're gonna have to adjust this later to get it right. We can also set scroll factor of the ground, scroll X, and scroll Y. It's like how it's gonna scroll. So we're just gonna make it the default 0.9, I do believe. Let's go ahead and do add new sprite, background, and then front bowl, and we're gonna want it to not be in the front. Now let's copy that over. Let's disable the scroll factor, actually. Let's call this animated object, and this is, I think it's called middle. So if we go ahead and copy this over that, and we can do this to true, we're going to want to do it so that it's make animated Lua sprite. So right under make animated Lua sprite, do add animation by prefix. Do it for animated object. The name. So this is, I don't believe you have to do anything specific. Let's just do idle prefix is the XML file. So if we go into mil.xml, the name is J. It's the same thing as a character. Let's do J. The frame rate, always do 24. And loop, we're gonna do true in this case. If you do like an attack animation or whatever you want to do, it wouldn't loop, obviously. So now what we can do is function on beat hit. And you know what? Thinking about it, we don't actually want it to loop. Because what we're gonna do is on beat hit, we're gonna play anim for the animated object, the name, which we set as idle. Force, let's go ahead and do true. That just means it'll play over any other animation that's playing. Reverse, we're going to set that to false because we don't want it to be reversed. And start frame, 0. And there we go. That should be our animated sprite done. Finally, let's add our foreground sprite. So, copy this over again. Let's call it the foreground. This will be in the front. The image is overlay. And you know what? I actually just remembered we're going to need to add in the extra file path. So, go into images. Okay, so it would be stages, random stage. So, stages slash random stage slash backdrop. We need to add that to the start of every single one of these. Random stage slash overlay. And for the animated object, we're actually going to set it 500 by 500. Just to make it a bit different from the other ones. So, when setting a position, hi guys, voiceover cat brother here, because I was being kind of dumb and I took like a minute to explain something that's really simple. So basically, up and down are reversed. So 500 would make the sprite go down, minus 500 would make the sprite go up. So it's just reverse. There's nothing too special about it. Back to recording, cat brother. So now we can go into the game and test out. No, actually we can't. We're gonna want to do set object camera foreground, and we have a few options. We can do HUD, which will put it on the same layer as our HUD and all, so that would be like note strums and the health bar. Or we can do other, which I do believe will put it above that. Let's do that. Let's do true for it being the highest one up. Actually, we cannot test just yet. We need to do our text file. Now for this, I'm just going to be modifying the JSON file actually. So you're going to want to make this a JSON file. I'm just going to be copying over the JSON file from one of my mods. And I will leave like a little template in the description. So the directory, you can leave that blank. You can do default zoom, so that will just make the camera more or less zoomed in. You can do isPixelStage. You're almost always going to want that off. This is the positioning of the boyfriend, girlfriend, and opponent. It follows the same rules of down being higher numbers. We're just gonna say that. Why not? And we're just gonna save that, and we're gonna get into it now. Let's just use it on Boppy Bow. Let's go ahead and do stage. You should see your stage here. Boyfriend, let's just do Neo. Opponent can be Tank Man. Why not? Let's just mess around. There you go. As you can see, all of our stage stuff is working. So the positions are changing. So if I make the opponent maybe go to more around 600 on the X, we replay. You can see he's a lot further ahead. If we maybe set the scroll factor of this to 0, why not? And let's go ahead and do -200. So let's see as that changes. There we go. Now as the camera shifts over, it will just stick to the screen. So unlike the background, you can see that's actually scrolling. So that's what the scroll factor is. You can see our animated sprite down there, animating. And yeah, that is going to be all for this video. There are some things I did not cover, but those are more complicated, and this is a simple basics tutorial. I do hope you enjoyed. Anyway, bye guys. Also subscribe.